I saw a post today on Facebook about a school somewhere in the country, somewhere, that wanted to cancel a father-daughter dance because it's offensive to kids that grow up in a home without a father, whether that's with a single mom or whether that's with their grandparents, aunts, uncles, maybe a lesbian couple as their parents, so they don't have a dad, they have two moms. Whatever the case is, they want to call it a parent-child dance so that it's more inclusive. And my question there is, when did we suddenly start wanting to not divide ourselves into subgroups? Because for the last 10 or 15 years, that's all anybody's wanted to do, is divide. I mean, look at all the different gender identities and sexuality identities or whatever, the LGBT, keep going, 50 different letters that there are now for people to divide themselves. And they keep adding new ones. And so I saw that somebody had suggested, well, why don't we have a different dance for different groups? Oh, no, we can't do that. That doesn't include everybody. And people need to be included in all groups. Really? Because I remember, what was it, 20 years ago when I was in middle school? Really? It's been that long. It has been that long. The big thing was not having labels. I don't want to be labeled. Don't label me. That was the big thing. And now all of a sudden things have shifted. Not even really all of a sudden. Over the last, like I said, 15 years or so, it's become cool and popular to label yourself as something. And to have different things for different groups. And so why is it all of a sudden an issue? Why can't we have a father-daughter dance? And why can't we have a mother-son dance? Or a family dance for everybody in addition to these specific groups. I mean, the LGBT community doesn't seem to have a problem with having subdivided groups and then a big group for everybody. The feminists don't seem to have a problem with having subdivided groups of feminists and then a big group for everybody. And why is it only a problem when it doesn't fit into one of those categories? And I'll put it in perspective this way. This month, which is February, is Black History Month. Okay? But not everybody in our country is black. So if we want to be inclusive, shouldn't the same people wanting to call it the family dance want to be calling Black History Month People History Month? Because if we subdivide, if we include only a small group of people, what if we leave out somebody? All right, what if somebody's, say, somebody from South Africa, whose family has been there since the 1600s, they're descended from the Boers, the Dutch people who originally, colonized. They didn't originally settle there. They originally colonized there. And their family has been African for, 400 plus years, and they're African, but they don't get to celebrate Black History Month, even though they're African, because they're white. Okay, and now some of you are sitting there going, that's racist. No, it's stupid, but it's not racist. Okay, it's stupid to suggest that we shouldn't have a Black History Month. Okay, we should. We should get to celebrate people like Martin Luther King, and we should celebrate people like Thurgood Marshall, and we should celebrate people, all these other I mean, there's too many to pick from. I can't decide who else I want to name. We should celebrate those people. We should have a month dedicated to them. We should have longer than a month dedicated to them. Okay? But we also know that it's okay to have an Asian History Month and a Hispanic History Month. And it's okay to have all of those different groups represented at different times, and nobody gets offended by it. So how is having a father-daughter dance and then later on in the school year or earlier in the school year, having a mother-son dance, and then at another point in the year, having a whole family dance where the siblings can come and everybody can have a good time together? Why is that all of a sudden not inclusive? And it really is the same thing. It is having smaller groups be a part of a larger group, and it's still being okay. And dads often get the shaft in our society. They're labeled as deadbeats. People roll their eyes at them. Dads taking their kids places, and people wonder if, that's okay. Should they be doing that? Where's their mother? I've seen posts by feminist groups that are saying that fathers should never be left alone with their children because they're incapable of caring for them, or they're inherently going to rape them, or some stupid crap like that. Dads often really do get a bad rap by our society because, yes, there are deadbeat dads. Yes, there are dads that choose not to pay child support, that are abusive, either physically or sexually or emotionally, whatever, that are alcoholics, that are drug addicts. But you know what? There's moms that do that stuff too. Right? There are moms that leave their kids and the dads raise them, by themselves with no mom at all. There are moms that are alcoholics, that are abusive, that are in jail. That is not a one-sided thing. And feminists are already out trying to get Father's Day nixed because it's offensive and men shouldn't be celebrated. How can we hope to end that kind of mentality about, if we think it's a problem that we have deadbeat dads, if we promote them, or if we assume that all dads are going to be like that, that's only going to make the problem worse. The relationship between a father and a daughter can be a wonderful thing. My dad has always been there for us, for me and my sister and my mom, for our entire lives. He has been there. He's provided for us. He's supported us. He's come to our school functions. And I know not everybody's dad is like that, but I don't want my dad being lumped in with deadbeat dads, and I'm not allowed to celebrate the fact that my dad is an awesome dad who is always taking care of us. Because somebody else might get offended by that. You know what? I don't give a crap if you get offended by that. If your dad sucked, I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to be proud of that my dad is a good dad. And it doesn't mean that these little girls shouldn't be allowed to be proud that they have good dads that want to show up for their father-daughter dance. We can't think that way. We can't allow ourselves to get to the point where we are so inclusive that we're actually excluding people from doing things that are good. And that's what this is doing. It is so inclusive that it has become exclusive. If you have, if there was a dance for people with two parents of the same gender and somebody wanted to cancel that because somebody was offended, oh my God, can you imagine the outrage? And people would be literally up in arms over that. Oh, that's horrible. You're discriminating against this community. But it's okay to do it because it's dads. Okay? We need to stop. We need to stop being led around by the nose by liberal groups like feminists, like, all these people that want to make men out, mostly feminists, that want to make men out to be evil villains, because not all men are like that. There are good dads out there that deserve to have a Father's Day. They deserve to have a father-daughter dance. They deserve to be called the good fathers that they are. And my dad is one of those. And if, I'm not in elementary school anymore, I'm sure you can tell. But if my school, the school that I work at, because I'm a teacher, it's not an elementary school either. But if we had a father-daughter dance, I would invite my dad to go. I invited my dad to be a guest speaker for my class. Because my dad is a good guy, and the kids, he had valuable information he could share with the kids that could help them. And we need to celebrate men like that. And if the way to do that is with a father-daughter dance, then we need to keep on going with those and have more of them. And we need to turn to the feminists that are trying to get this shut down, and we need to say, you know what? Screw you. We don't care about your agenda. We care about celebrating relationships between people, whether it's a mother and her children, or a father and his children, or anybody. It doesn't matter. Okay? So remember, don't be a sheep. Think for yourself and go out there and live your life the way you want to do it. And don't pay attention to the people who try to shut you down. And if they tell you you're wrong, you're probably not. Have a great Friday night and a great weekend.